Beep, beep. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to this thing that we like to call Movie Mondays with Matt Plus on the Northern News Now Plus app. Although today it is Movie Mondays with Matt Plus Plus because we have a bonus Matt with us today. Yay! I'm Matt Rasmussen, host of Movie Mondays with Matt, and this is Matt Dressel, just like an all-around amazing filmmaker in the area. So welcome to the show, my friend.
Thank you for having me, buddy.
This feels right. This
does, yes.
feels like it's been a long time in coming.
I know. I'm happy to be here.
So, you've got your fingers in so many different pots around the area and like the filmmaking scene and everything. Why don't you give us a little rundown? Like what have you been up to?
I've spent most of my time, in my filmmaking career making short films, writing screenplays. I had a screenplay made starring the late Bob Saget. So that's kind of the biggest thing that I've done. But when I moved to Duluth, I got really into interactive movie screenings. One of my favorite things, my favorite memory from my not childhood, but teenage years was seeing Evil Dead 2 in a parking lot projected against the wall of a building with just about 100 crazed fans. And then we did it again a year later for Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and Mark Borchardt from American Movie came and introduced it, and it was just those two screenings kind of formed exactly what I wanted to do with the rest of my life. And then when I went out to LA, there was this amazing movie theater called the Silent Movie Theater, and they would do basically the same thing that we do here. Just rowdy screenings. They would pass out free beer. We're not allowed to do that, but they would go around with this bucket of PBR and they pass out free beer, and there'd just be so much audience participation. And once I realized that movies could be an interactive experience, it just kind of changed my life. And when I moved here, I started programming movies at the Cinema, and Midnight Movies was born, and I just started making movies where it wasn't just about passively sitting there and watching a movie. It was about interacting with the people around you, doing rituals, doing drinking games, handing out prizes, doing trivia, all that great stuff. So it just kind of grew from there.
That is what makes a movie screening so amazing and so memorable, when it's interactive like that. Like, anyone can just go to a movie, but if there's something extra that you're experiencing with the crowd, that's what really sets it apart.
Yeah, and I mean today, the future of the movies is kind of in question right now. We don't really know, especially with movie theaters. Are they going to keep being a thing? Are people still going to the movies? And so I really do think, outside of the blockbusters, outside of the big movies, the way to bring people into the theater is to create an experience that they can't get anywhere else. To have curated cinema, to have something that's just really powerful and really fun, and I think that's just kind of the future of movie theaters right now.
I couldn't agree more. So speaking of which, The Room is probably the most interactive film screening I've ever been to. The multiple times I've seen The Room with the crowd, there's always something. There's always little bits that the crowd likes to get into. Yeah. Throwing spoons at the screen, that kind of stuff. So when did The Room first enter your life?
I was reading an article. It was about 2008. I was reading an article in Entertainment Weekly, and it was talking about The Room, and it was talking about this kind of underground sensation that was going around, and particularly around celebrities being really enchanted by The Room and going to these screenings, in early LA screenings, because they would hold basically monthly screenings that Tommy would attend. And it kind of just became this thing, and so they were interviewing all these celebrities, and the article, it just sounded like something I'd never seen before. The Room just sounded like something that needed to be seen to be believed. So I went out to LA to see one of these screenings, and actually the first time I showed up there, I showed up about 45 minutes early, and the line was so long that we were told that we would not be able to get in. And they were showing it in 5 theaters. They would show it simultaneously on every screen at the theater. But they had so many people there. There were so many in attendance that they basically did a line count, and they were like, you aren't going to make it. So the next time we showed up an hour and a half early. And that was still pushing it, but we still finally made it in that time. But it was unlike, going to those original Room screenings where Tommy and Greg and everybody were in attendance was just insane. The amount of people there, just the electricity, just having Tommy around there, also just having, because like I said, there was this weird cult of like celebrities really liking it. So we were in line and we had Alec Baldwin cut in front of us.
What?
And I remember being like, what the crap? You can't just cut in front of us. And he was also really drunk. He was like 3 sheets to the wind, looked like absolute crap. But he cut in front of us. And I remember being really mad because we had waited for like 2 hours and then Alec Baldwin just saunters in. But those first screenings, oh my gosh, it was unreal. And we were told not to go in having never seen the movie, to see the movie first. So we got our hands on a copy of a DVD and we watched it first and we enjoyed it. But the screenings are so rowdy, they're so loud that a lot of the times you can't even hear what is being said on the screen. And so we were told that the best experience is to see it at home where you can actually hear the movie first. But that first screening, it's just, we went to a couple out there in LA, and each time it was something new. Each time there were new traditions that would pop up. It would just be kind of magical to just see all these people come together and do these traditions. And then, like I said, the bonus was in those early days, Tommy was always there.
Man.
Yeah.
Man, that's how I first experienced it, was actually at home by myself, because I discovered it in college, and it was huge in the filmmaking scene at the time, like 2007 or 8, and someone gave me a bootleg DVD of it. It was like, here, you must watch this, but watch it by yourself first. And I was like, okay, and so I threw it in, and I was so confused and bewildered, and it went against everything that I was learning currently at the time as far as filmmaking tactics. And I was like, what is this? And I was so blown away. I didn't know if I wanted to watch it a second time, honestly. Watching it by myself was strange. But then, going out to the screenings was the thing that really, it gave it new life.
Yeah.
So, being that Tommy comes to these things, have you ever gotten to interact with Tommy? Do you have any fun stories?
So the very first screening that I went to, Tommy comes out and he makes his way around the crowd. And you have to remember, this was like I said, this was a plaza, this giant plaza, and people are just wrapped around, waiting in line. He's just going around, and he, that particular night, he came out, and he is in full Tommy gear. He had the sunglasses on, he had 5 belts on. And Michael Jackson had just died. Michael Jackson is his idol. He worships Michael Jackson. And so Tommy, we're up on, I think, level 4 or 5, because this is just this this plaza that spirals up. Tommy gets up on this ledge, this tiny ledge, and addresses the entire crowd and starts yelling. And the thing is, it's such a big place, and the acoustics are so terrible. Most people can't understand what he's saying, so everybody's just yelling, "What? What?" And he keeps yelling. But he leads us in, I guess, a prayer for Michael Jackson, because he's saying something, and then he puts his hands together and he looks up and he says for Michael. So that was a very weird. We were all kind of is Tommy gonna fall? Is he gonna what is going on? But then he got off and he came around and he signed autographs. I had my my DVD came over. He signed it for me. But he had spent little time with each people because he just wanted to go around and talk to each person. But he that night he went to every single screening and did a Q&A. So all 5, he was, in the early days, he was seriously committed to those LA screenings. He would go to each one and do a full-on Q&A, not just a couple questions. He would just stay there until people were satisfied. And, he answered questions. I was looking at video of it, and people asked him questions like, what's your favorite dinosaur? And he said, the big one. So it was a really weird experience. It's one of those things where you watch the movie and you're just kind of there's no way he could possibly be like that. And then you meet him and you're like, yeah, okay,
that's him.
Yeah, he
that's
is.
definitely him. Oh, what a classic Tommy line, the big one. I was watching, so this blows my mind. So last night I was watching The Disaster Artist.
Oh, okay.
I rewatched it just to kind of brush up on everything, and I was looking through the bonus features. I had seen all those before, but I skipped over the audio commentary when I first bought the Blu-ray, and I saw that as an option. I was like, what? How did I not look at this audio commentary? And Tommy's on the audio commentary with Greg Sestero.
Oh, okay.
And the two brothers, what their names, James Franco and his brother.
Dave, yep.
and then the two writers of the movie. And all of them together are on this commentary, and most of it is just directing questions at Tommy, just bombarding him with questions, and the whole Disaster Artist movie turns into this. And Tommy was getting kind of irritated because he's like, I didn't know you'd be asking questions about Room. I thought you'd be asking about Disaster Artist. And they're asking him like the polarizing questions that he doesn't want to answer.
Okay.
Like, where are you from, Tommy? And, you know, things like that. So that was always fun to see him like, try to brush aside. And I've seen it like in public too, where he tries to brush aside questions that he's uncomfortable with.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing is like The Room it's not just the movie. Like the movie itself, yeah, it's bad. There's so much about it that doesn't work. There's so many things that you can point to that are just amazing. But the reason that The Room is what it is because of Tommy. It's because of the behind the scenes story. It's because of just the fact that this guy is just shrouded in so much mystery. And he just, like you said, he just pushes these questions away, and that's all he does. He won't talk about where he's from. He won't talk about why he has millions of dollars. It's just, it's unlike really anything out there when you think about all of the movies out there that are, you know, so bad it's good. It's like The Room is, the reason it trumps all is because it's not just the movie itself. It's everything around it, too, and Tommy himself. So that's what makes it so special.
I couldn't agree more. And like, Tommy, just everything he says is so, oh, that's classic Tommy.
Yep.
You know, and it's so quotable, like not just the movie, but like everything he does and just him in general is just so, classic Tommy. So
Yeah.
like, are there any Tommy moments that you're like, that is the ultimate Tommy quote? Doesn't have to be from The Room, just like anything in general that is like, that's Tommy Wiseau in a nutshell.
I do actually think it is from The Room. It's one of my favorite Tommy quotes. I say it a lot. I'm probably going to butcher it now, but it's just him saying, if we all just love each other, the world will be a better place. And it's just, I think that I like it so much because, and it always gets, that moment in the screenings always gets like, people stand up, people cheer. I think it's because it's so genuine and so sincere, and it reminds you that you're watching something where it was this genuine, heartfelt script that he wrote. It was something that he wanted to send this message out into the world, and it makes you kind of look at Tommy in a different way and see like, okay, he's got this like, you know, this big heart in here that's like actually pushing this movie. And it kind of reminds me of the message at the end of the other cult classic, Miami Connection, where, you know, you watch all this like violence and ninjas and all this stuff, and then at the end there's a card that says the only way we'll get world peace is through the elimination of violence. And it's just like this heartfelt sentiment at the end of all of this schlock. And it's just something about that line in The Room just really gets me.
Man, okay, so what I want to like lead into in just a minute here is the local screening that you'll be hosting. Yeah. We're going to toss to break real quick like here so that you guys can watch a couple of cute little things and give us a little breather, and then we'll be back in just a minute for part 2 of this video, and we'll recap this a little bit. So, stand by, my friends. We'll see you in just a minute. Joink. And start break.